Humidity and the racism. How about that? That could be a whole book in and of itself, couldn't it? Or the way that my autoimmune disease symptoms have almost gone completely away is mind-boggling to me. So maybe that makes me weird. Well, a lot of things make me weird. Hey everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to the channel. I am so glad that you are here. I'm gonna answer your questions today. I actually asked for these before we left for our trip to Greece because I knew I'd feel a little tired, a little brain foggish, a little jet lagged when I got back. And these Q&As are super fun for me. And then secret, they're also really easy. And I hope you guys enjoy hearing my answers to your questions. So we're gonna do 3 different categories today. We're gonna start with some travel questions. Then we're gonna do some home, health, that type of thing questions. And then I'm going to end with some work questions about what I do here on YouTube, plans for the future of the channel, that sort of thing. So thank you for submitting such logically sequenced questions. You guys really did write this video for me. So Q&As, I'll tell you, this is every creator I think would tell you this. They're a little bit lazy because we're letting you inform what we talk about. And yeah, it's not a bad thing, but especially when I'm really limited in time and physical energy, this is just perfection. So thank you for doing my job for me. All right, so let's start with some travel questions. If you're new to my channel, you may not know that I travel about once a month. That is my job. I am a travel vlogger. So I travel all over the world and I document my journeys. And then here on my lifestyle channel, I talk about tips and tricks for travel. And then my travel vlog channel is where all of the actual travel part of it is. So if you're not already subscribed to my other channel, it's just called Jen Lefforge. I do some Disney travel, also other travel. I have a trip to Japan on there, a lot of European travel. And actually, I just scheduled another European trip that's happening this year, which came completely out of the blue. So I'll be talking more about that, but you definitely want to be following that channel and this channel. So let's dive right into your questions. This first one is very timely because I am suffering from jet lag right now as I'm recording this video. Do jet lag and time change for European trips negatively impact the experience? So yes, jet lag is going to affect you. Does it have to be a big, huge negative deal on your trip? Absolutely not. If you follow a few really good self-care tips, you will find that it's just more of an annoyance. Things like make sure that you are staying super well hydrated on the plane. Make sure that you're not overly consuming alcohol on the plane. This is a huge mistake I see people make. They think if they drink a lot of alcohol, they will sleep on the plane. So 2 things happen. Alcohol is like double the intensity when you're in the air because of the altitude. So it'll affect you a lot more. And actually it will keep you from getting deep restorative sleep. And then bonus, you're going to feel hungover in addition to the jet lag. So that is not a great combination and it's very dehydrating. So you already have air travel sucking all the moisture out of your body. And then if you add alcohol to the mix, that doubles the effect of the dehydration. So try to stay away from alcohol. Try to avoid caffeine. I like to avoid caffeine the whole day that I travel so that I can get as much rest as possible and hydrate on that flight. I've got lots of other long haul tips and tricks. In fact, it's probably time for me to do an updated long haul flight video since I've had so many long haul flights. Long haul flights. How does jet lag affect you? Your speech. No. I've had so many long haul flights this year. I've developed a few more techniques for coping. You're gonna be a little sleepy when you get to your destination. It's going to take you a couple of days to adjust, but I think just get in the right mental headspace about it. Take really good care of yourself. Try to get on the new destination schedule as quickly as possible. Obviously, this is much easier for adults than it is for children. If you're doing overseas travel with kids, you parents that do it, kudos to you. But when my kids were little, their sleep schedule really determined everybody's mood. So I can't even imagine taking them on a European cruise, or a European trip when they were little. But if you take good care of yourself, if you hydrate, if you get on the new schedule as soon as possible, Get daylight when you get to your destination, walk outside, move your body, get your mind and body adjusted to whatever time and daylight situation it is there, and you'll find that it will take a day or two and then you'll be just fine. Some people, when they're doing a really big, like a European cruise, will get there a couple days before so that their body has more time to adjust. But I think you'll find yourself adjusting much more quickly than you think. And I find my adrenaline is so engaged because I'm so excited about my destination that on the way there, I don't really struggle. But a lot of times coming home, like this trip, you do get a little on the sleepy side. So there you go. That's all I have to say about that. That was a lot of words. This is going to be 9 hours long if I don't clip through these things. So I'll try to be more concise. This is an easy one. How far in advance do you plan your trips? The short answer is it depends. Most of the time I schedule pretty far in advance. Like I'm already working through my 2024 travel schedule. Sometimes, however, things fall in my lap very unexpectedly. I just had a trip come in for December that I'm super excited about, but obviously that is coming up like in no time at all. And it's a European trip, so that's generally not something I would plan last minute. So I try to leave space for unexpected things to pop up. But generally I have at least 3 or 4 big trips planned even as much as a year in advance. Cruises to me require generally more planning in advance than other types of trips. I'm very close to Walt Disney World, so if I'm going to pop down there for a few days, that requires hardly any planning on my part. So yeah, it depends on the trip, it depends on where I'm going. And then I do like leaving space for unexpected invitations. Like when my friend Adam asked me to do this European cruise that we did this past spring, that was very short notice for me, but it ended up being a spectacular trip. So yeah, there you go. Absolutely favorite cruise you've been on. You know, I thought about this a lot. I've had some really great cruises. I've cruised Disney, I've cruised with Viking, but my favorite, I think, was a few years ago. Scott and I did a very last minute 5-night cruise on the Disney Dream. I think I vlogged that trip. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but I think I vlogged it. And it was my Christmas gift. It was impromptu. It was totally fun. I love spending time with my husband, and he doesn't really love cruising. So when he cruises with me, I understand that it is a sacrifice, but he had a ball too. So it was just a lot of fun and just a perfect trip. So yeah, there you go. What is my dream vacation? So my dream vacation is probably not very like practical or plausible, but it's a dream, right? So you can go with whatever. My dream vacation would be a beach destination with all of my kids and their significant others and my dogs. So you guys know I have 3 dogs. So we would have to find a beautiful beach house that was drivable because my dogs are too big for me to fly to a destination. And it would need to be big enough to accommodate my kids. 2 of my 3 kids now have significant others. So that's 7 adults and 3 dogs. And so that's a huge beach house. But doing something like that for probably a week. I don't know that all the kids would be able to stay a week, but that would be great if they could. And I'm going to add to this, if we could hire someone to come and cook for us so that we could have the benefit of having the beach house, but not have to worry about all the beach house things, bringing in all the groceries, who's going to cook, all of that sort of thing. That just sounds amazing to me. And then of course I want the weather to be great. So there's plenty for everybody to do, because a rainy beach week and you're all stuck inside isn't really fun. But yes, a week like that with my amazing family, oh, maybe with a boat, that would give us a fun activity to do. That just sounds heavenly to me. Will you ever do an Alaskan cruise? Yes, soon. Stay tuned. Little 2024 spoiler for you. And then this last one is actually going to be its own separate video. Not last question, but last in the travel section. Was DCL, Disney Cruise Line Concierge, worth the money? I am going to do a whole video about my concierge experience on the Disney Wish over on the Travel Channel. So stay tuned for more on that. All right, let's move into some home life health questions, or just fun. I don't know why I put this one in this category, but let's just go with it. Any advent calendars ordered? Well, it's funny you should ask. I was not going to do the Elemis one And then I saw how cute it was. I'll put a picture of it right here somewhere. It's so adorable. It's the little British letterbox. And so I went ahead and got it. It is $160, I believe. Is that correct? I think it was $160, maybe $220. I'll put the price down here. They say it's $749 worth of product. It probably is. It does come with a full size of a product that I know that I use, and I know the price of that, so that helped. And there's also a few products that they have that I love, like the resurfacing pads that I know are in there. And it's just a lot of fun to open. And whatever product I don't use, my husband likes their products, and so does one of my sons. So I know that I'll be able to spread the joy there. They may get some of them in their stockings, and I just couldn't resist. So if you want to try Elemis products, I've been using their skincare now for about 4 years. So happy. I use the Pro Collagen line, but I will put a link to the advent calendar as well as the list of products that I use. I just swear by their skincare. My skin, in my view, has never been better as I've been aging. The Pro Collagen line is just incredible. So I'll put all the links below. And yeah, if you're interested in trying Elemis, I think the advent calendar is a great way to do it. Additional advent calendars will be coming to my house, but I have not ordered or picked them up yet. I'm thinking of, I know Costco is doing a dog one. I'll probably do a wine one again. I'm on the lookout for a tea one. So if you have recommendations, I would love for you to put those down in the comment section, because I will be doing Vlogmas this year in some shape, form, or fashion. Probably not every day, but some kind of a Vlogmas situation. So advent calendars have to be part of Vlogmas, right? Because that's just part of what we do. What are some of your simple joys? And I love this question because I am a Cancer, and as a Cancer, I am a nester, and I'm very into my environment. So definitely creating cozy, beautiful spaces is what I consider a simple joy. I love to sit down in a really peaceful room. That doesn't mean fancy, that doesn't mean expensive, just peaceful, where things are in order and put away. And you know, the light this time of year in the fall is so beautiful. And having just a cup of tea, a beautiful candle, a book that I'm reading, but a good book is a huge simple joy for me. Magazines. I am still so into magazines. I get Real Simple, Southern Living, Better Homes and Gardens. Is that all I'm getting right now? Oh, and Condé Nast Traveler. And when a new magazine comes to my house, I am so excited. So just, yeah, those types of little cozy comforts. Always by myself too, which is interesting that I didn't mention anything with other people. But I am kind of a people-oriented introvert, so time alone is very important to me, and it's a huge luxury. And so time alone with a book and a candle and a cup of tea, mwah, that is just heaven to me. What is the biggest challenge to living in the South? This question made me laugh because the first thing that came to mind was the humidity. The humidity is a particular challenge to me. I don't do well with humidity. I have a lot of joint pain from time to time with my autoimmune disease, and the humidity just seems to exacerbate all of that. So yeah, we just survived another summer in Atlanta. It was particularly brutal this year. So the humidity. The other challenge is the racism. And I am on the path to becoming more anti-racist every year. I do a lot of reading on that subject. I really try to educate myself. And there's a lot of covert and overt racism, not in my actual neighborhood. I live in a part of Atlanta that is extremely progressive and very diverse, but you go just a little bit north of here and there is some rampant racism that goes on. And sometimes I observe things and I hear things that just make my blood boil. So that is concerning. In addition to, and it's not just racism, it's also transphobia and, you know, things of that nature that I have no tolerance for. And I have a very outspoken demeanor about me when I'm around things like that. And sometimes that just gets exhausting. Again, not in my actual neighborhood, thank God, but some of the surrounding communities. So it's a frustration. we could leave the South. However, Fulton County, where we are, is a kind of a bastion for progressive ideas, and I like being a voice for change in a state that can struggle with change. So we're here for now. But yeah, the humidity and the racism. How about that? That could be a whole book in and of itself, couldn't it? Hashimoto's update. What's helping? What's not? So this is such an interesting topic because my Hashimoto's symptoms have improved. If I was going to give it a percentage, I would say probably 75 or 80% in the last 2 years. And I credit that almost entirely to getting trauma recovery therapy. I was diagnosed with PTSD from trauma that happened to me when I was in high school. There is an amazing book called The Body Keeps the Score. I will link it down below. That talks specifically about the link between trauma and PTSD and illness in our bodies. And there's a lot around this field of study. In fact, if you just put into your computer trauma and autoimmune disease, be careful, right? Because Google is not always your friend. But there is so much research that has gone on, particularly in regards to PTSD and autoimmune disease. So my PTSD has been going on since my trauma happened, but it was particularly bad when I was in my 30s. And that is when I first started getting treatment. And that is also when my autoimmune disease symptoms were the worst. So it has not gone away altogether. By going through the process of working with a therapist, learning how to combat some of the anxiety and the trauma recovery work, which has been a very long process. The trauma recovery work actually started about 5 years ago. The last 2 years, though, as I've had some closure around the trauma, have been really, really powerful and healing for me. And the way that my autoimmune disease symptoms have almost gone completely away is mind-boggling to me. So I 100% believe that is why. There are other things I've done, better self-care, better sleep, better nutrition, all of those kinds of things. But when I look back at the Hashimoto's video that I did 5 years ago, which now has had like 300,000 views on YouTube, and I'll put a link to it right here if you want to go and watch it. I don't even feel like the same person that recorded that video. And not that there was anything wrong with that woman, but she had not yet dealt with all of the trauma that she needed to deal with. And I still have more work to do, right? I think it's a danger to ever think, oh, I'm done now and I'm healed from whatever this is. It will be a lifelong process for me, but 100% the illness was related to the trauma. And as I'm working through the trauma, the illness symptoms are starting to lessen. So yeah, I'm doing so much better. Thank you so much for asking. Let's move into the last section of this. Where are we on time? We are at 19 minutes. Okay, perfect. We're going to talk about some work stuff. So someone asked, what are my channel goals for the next 5 years? So what I would love to see happen in the next 5 years, I love doing what I'm doing. However, there are parts of it I don't love. I love communicating. I love creating content. I love traveling and documenting the content. The business side of the business is not always my favorite thing. I plan all my own travel. I work through all my own paperwork. I do have a wonderful bookkeeper, a wonderful tax accountant, and I also have Annalise, who is my virtual assistant. Could not do my job at all without those 3 people. But I would love to get to a point where I am working for someone else and I can just show up and be the talent. That would be really lovely for me. I don't know what that would look like. I can't even envision that yet, but it would be so amazing to get an email with like, here is your work for the week, or here's where you're supposed to be, here's what you're supposed to do. I have to do everything on my own. I have to plan out all the videos, script all the videos, which, I mean, that's the job. That's being a YouTube creator. So maybe it means that I'm not even on YouTube anymore. Maybe that means I'm moving into some other realm. But yeah, I would love to see that. I would also love to start writing again more. Some of you have been following me from my blog, which my blog started in 2009. And I have been the writing piece of things has really not been happening, and I would love to get back to doing more writing, but I can't because content creation is relentless. And it's just one of those things where there's not a lot of space for other things. So I would like to start carving out some more time for writing. And I would love to get to a point where maybe I was just showing up and doing the content and not having to do all of the other running of the business as well. So yeah, we will see what comes of that. When do you think you'll fully retire? So I don't really think I will ever fully retire. Scott is, some of you know, Scott is an airline pilot for Delta Airlines. He's a captain, and he has to retire at 65. But I really, as long as I feel good enough to wake up and do something that I love, I intend to wake up and do something that I love. I don't know that I'll always get a paycheck for it. At some point, might I move into a volunteer realm? That's possible. But I love working. I have always loved working. I have worked since I was 18 years old. And the thought of retirement and not having like I don't know that retirement means you have to not have a purpose. Certainly, I know plenty of people who are retired who have tons of purpose. But I like having structure to my days. Right now is kind of the best of both worlds because I have a tremendous amount of flexibility, but I also always have something that needs to be done. So just trying to find that balance. When Scott actually retires, which will be in 7 years, I will probably back off a little bit, but it's also possible that we may decide to do a whole new thing. We're always thinking about businesses we would love to start or creative pursuits or, I've always had this dream of maybe buying a wedding venue. I know it's just all of these dreams that we talk about all the time. And so we'll see. Retirement, though, does not really appeal to me and it's not really something that I even think about. So maybe that makes me weird. Well, a lot of things make me weird. Do you think it's ever too late for us to become the writer, painter, creator that's been hibernating inside of us? That particular person also shared that she is working through the book, The Artist's Way, which is on my list to read. So obviously, resounding no, it is never too late. And I would say the artist that's inside of you needs to start creating today, regardless of what you currently do for your vocation, regardless of all of the other things in your life. I feel very strongly that if you are an artist, a creative, someone who needs to be doing those things, you're not fully yourself unless you're doing them in some arena, right? Doesn't have to be professionally. It doesn't have to be some big formal thing, but are you allowing yourself the space and the time to do those creative pursuits? I require that to be fully myself. Times in my life where I haven't had a creative outlet, I have just not felt like I was taking full breaths. So not only is it never, ever, ever, ever too late, the first day to start is literally right this second. So yes, pursue your dreams. Figure out what that should look like. Does it mean a whole career shift? Maybe not. Maybe it means just adding something additional to your life. But if you have the dream of creating, figure out what that looks like, educate yourself, practice your craft, and really reach your full potential in that arena. So I think it's just all part of finding your purpose and finding joy in your life. So absolutely. I want to say a huge thank you to you guys for always being so supportive of the work that I do here. And I want to take a moment to just shout out all of my patrons. You all support me every month. You can join us over there for as little as $5 a month. You'll get exclusive content, private Instagram, lots of special notes from me, things that you can contribute to. We have a lot of fun, and I think you would find it really valuable if you're a big fan of the channel. So go to patreon.com/JenLefforge, and I'm going to scroll a little screen right here that's going to show all of the names of all of the amazing patrons. Huge shout out to Annalise for always keeping that up to date for me. And I just want to say to everyone that's watching right now, if you've only watched just this one video of mine, if you've been watching for years, you are why I could continue to do what I do. And I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. So whatever you're doing today, I hope you're finding joy. Hopefully I wasn't too rambly with my jet-lagged brain. And be looking forward to plenty of fall fall and then holiday content coming your way. Head over to Jen Lefforge to watch those travel vlogs, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.